Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. How is life for you?
Very busy.
Life is meant to be busy all the time.
It's too much.
Yeah. Something will always come and keep you busy.
This is it. It's always something.
Yeah. Yeah, in this earthly life, you will never find any time to relax. All the time you will be kept busy. Yeah, we thought when we were young, we thought, okay, once the exams are over, we will be okay. Then after that, when we got married, we thought, okay, now we will be all right. But when we got the children, it was another story. Then after that, looking after the children's children is another story. So you keep busy all the time. Yeah. We have to like in the ADF farm, we have to get a better yield out of our time. That's the only way for us to survive. It will be 1,600 cows all the time, but we have to see how we can get a better yield all the time. And that's the only way we can make a profit out of this kind of a situation. Same with our 24 hours. We have only 24 hours. We have to see how best we can use that 24 hours to get a better output all the time.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So now basically what we did was last couple of 2 lessons, what we did was we just went through the pre-scene, and what we found was this company, one thing, it's a family company. It doesn't seem to be having any strategy, not even a board meeting, but they call it is a kind of a family meeting what they have. They must be discussing all sorts of things in the family meeting. And then other thing what we saw was this company is selling a product which is sort of being dominated. The buyer is the supermarket. They decide the price, and the prices are coming down drastically. Last year itself it came down very drastically, the prices. And we can see almost we are working at full capacity, 1,600 cows. For last 15 years, this had been the story. Now with the revenue dropping, expenditure being at the same level, we are probably entering into a very difficult period already, because the financial statements given is 2015 November. By the time we get to 2016 November, the day that we are sitting for the exam, maybe this company has gone into a lot of crisis. Looking at from that angle, our Kevin's proposal, you remember the Kevin, the brother of the chief executive, came out and gave a proposal, not that he was interested in ADF joining him, because he thought ADF may not have enough money, and he thought ADF will not have time also, but he gave the proposal. But having studied the proposal, what we realized is when you really look at this scene there, look at the PC in here. Kevin's farm, the proposal, with the cows and the land and everything, the total cost is 4,865 investment per cow. Including the cow, the cost is 4,865 in Kevin's proposal. Now I want to compare this Kevin's proposal with our present market or present business, what we are doing. We have 1,600 cows. 1,600 cows. Look at our investment. Forget about the current assets inventory, because that will be always there for Kevin or for us. But look at the non-current investment. It is 14,196.75.
Yes.
It is 14,196.75. If you divide it by 1,600, you can see the cost of the cow of our ADF. So it's about 8,869.
Oh, that's really different.
Yeah, 8,869. Whereas our Kevin's proposal, it's almost about 75% less than this one. That's 8,869. That's 8,869. Kevin's proposal. It's 4,865. So if you really look at the difference in the cost, 8,869 minus 4,865 divided by 8,869 will give us a percentage, the cost increase per cow, our cost investment against their one, right? So it's about 45%. Yeah, from our cost, it's only about 45%. The cost of our or the cost is only about the difference is 45% between our cost and their cost. So you can see we are hugely capital intensive, lot of investment on the property, plant and equipment, and that is something that we have to be looking at all the time. Look at the cow's cost. Cow's cost is same, 375. That is for 1,250 per cow in our Kevin's proposal. What is the cost of our cow? Right. So we had the mature cows 1,577,600. 1,577. They are the cows that is giving us the milk. So if you divide it by 1,600, it's about 986 per cow. 1,577,600 divided by 1,600, we have 986 per cow. Whereas Kevin's cows are.
The sound is not quite good.
Pardon?
The sound.
Yeah, can you speak loudly? I can't hear you. Please speak closer to the mic.
The sound is not good. It keeps breaking up.
Hello? Hello. Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Yeah, I said the sound is breaking up.
Kausa?
The sound. When you speak, it keeps breaking up. It's not very clear.
Can you write Marian on the chat box? Then I will get a idea what you're saying. Write it. Okay, because I can't hear you very clearly. Okay. Sounds keep breaking. Yeah, I think that is when I'm writing. Now see, when I'm just without writing, when I'm talking, when it is all right. Yeah, because I think when I move the screen and all that, the sounds keep breaking up. That is when I write on the board, when I try to do something, it breaks up. If it is break, I will try to avoid when I'm writing, not to speak, and then I will speak. I think then it should be all right. Okay, thanks. What I was trying to tell you was look at our Kevin's company. The cost per cow is 1,250.
Yes.
1,250. Our cost per cow we have 1,577,600. Divided by 1,600 will give us a lesser figure.
Yeah. 996.
Yeah. So what you can see is it's not the cost of the cow that is making a difference, but the difference is coming in this area. Property, plant and equipment.
Yes.
We have a very huge investment on property, plant and equipment, whereas Kevin's one is very less intensive. So you can see we are almost 55% more on capital investment than Kevin. But look at what is our profit, operating profit.
$420,069.
It's actually 420 not 69 our profit.
Yes.
For interest 420 not 69, but to compare with Kevin, you remember in the salaries here there is a 250,000 staff cost paid for the directors.
Yes.
So that we have to add it up. So our profit, operating profit before salary, $770 or 69. Right? If you divide it by 1,600, 770 not 69 divided by 1,600, we can see our operating profit per cow is only 481.
Yes.
Now look at Kevin. Kevin's per cow, the operating profit is 438.
Yes.
So it's about, we are 481. He is 438. So we are 10% more in the operating profit compared to Kevin. Per cow. He is 438. We are 481. We are 10% more than our Kevin's proposal. But if you look at the capital investment, we are 55% more than Kevin.
Yes.
So you can see the disparity. We have invested 55% more than Kevin to get a 10% extra. So you can see obviously Kevin's proposal seemed to be somewhat old, outdated, but seemed to be a much better proposal in terms of capital investment than our present model. Our present model is too capital intensive, and you can see the result of that is what? Look at what is happening. They are making a profit of 420,000, but 261,000 they are paying as interest.
Yes.
So they are paying almost 62% of their profit to the bankers as interest, finance charges.
Yes.
What is the reason? Because they are so capital intensive. Whereas if you go with our Kevin's proposal, it's very less capital intensive. 55% less or 45% less capital intensive, and only 10% less in terms of profit. And because we are doing a very huge capital intensive project, we are paying out of our profit 62% as interest, which is a very, very heavy figure. You understand? So, from all what we can see is, if we can shift this, our model to Kevin's model, may be a better proposition for us. We can sell some of excess assets. Cows can be the same cows, only thing it will be a different model where they will be allowed to go in the grass and all that. You can see the land area. Kevin is also having about the same acreage like what we are having. So per cow the acreage is almost the same, but the investment comes down, and probably we can settle our loans, and we may be in a better position to compete. And also sometimes the Kevin's eggs, Kevin's milk may be able to get a better price because they will be somewhat organic, because they will not be giving so much of antibiotics. People will prefer to buy those eggs. Now because when my daughter was living, we used to order eggs from a particular company that was supplying these so-called organic eggs. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. If it breaks, just send me a message. Okay. So what I was telling you was, if we can get some idea, I think that is why the examiner has given us that proposal. If we can get some idea from Kevin's proposal, maybe if we can do some strategic change, maybe we are better off than the present model what we are doing.
Yeah.
So that we have to keep it in mind, because probably I think examiner is looking in that angle from us. But I want to look at today, I want to look at a particular mock which I have done. I want to discuss that with you. So here, this is the first mock we are going to look at. Joelin, do you remember Joelin is the father of the company? He's the joint CEO with the mother. So he's talking to you. I'm glad that I caught you. I'm looking for some advice, but I do not wish to involve Susan at this stage or any other board member. Now that is a bit of a difficult situation for you. This is a family company, and it's father, mother, and the children. And the father says, "Hey, I am talking to you, Marian, but I don't want to get Susan. Susan is the finance director or any of the other family members at this stage." So immediately it rings a bell on you. Why? Why? That he doesn't want to talk to those people. Is it because he's not trusting them? Or is it because he wants you to be the scapegoat if anything goes wrong? Yeah. So Kevin approached me last week concerning the possibility of a merging with his new business venture, which is less intensive than our model. So although Kevin gave the proposal to his brother, saying, "I know you don't have money, I know you don't have time, I want you to just to give your input," but last week he has approached the brother, Joelin, and he's telling about a merger with his new business venture. Right? Do you remember Kevin himself is a person working in a farm company. He also has the farm experience because probably I think all of them are from the same farming family, but he's in a different one. So this proposal was to open up a kind of a less intensive farm 80 kilometers away from our ADF. Earlier, he gave his business plan for us to go through, but I was surprised when he asked me whether we would like to join him in his new venture. So that's right. Earlier, what he said was, "Okay, I want you all to give your input," but now he is coming and telling, "Why don't we join together?" He has been in talks with Milko, one of our competitors, and I suspect that he's keen to join any company of our size that can offer synergy. I understand Milko has already rejected this proposal. So it seems he has taken this proposal to one of our competitors, and that competitor has rejected it, and now he is coming to us. So on the back of my mind, I will think, why did they reject it? I might want to know, although I may not be able to get all the details, I might want to know why the Milko rejected it, because after rejection only, he is coming to us and offering the project. Kevin's project is named Kevin Dairy Farming, KDF. As per his plan, capital expenditure will be around 1.459 million. You remember that was the figure that was appearing in the pre-sale. Pre-sale rate of 1.459. And Susan, after studying the plan, told me that his estimate is okay. So we don't have a problem about the estimate. It seems that 1.459 for 300 cows is the investment that we require. He has already found enough money to buy the land and to put up the buildings and farm setup, and needs about further 520 as an investment for our share of 35%. I want to quickly move into the pre-sale. Kevin's proposal, the total investment is 1.459, including the cows. And what he says is he has got enough money for the land and the cows, which is going to be about 480 plus 375. So he has got that money with him, right? So out of 1459, he has got 855 with him, and he's short about the 600,000, and he's inviting us to join his company with that kind of a money for a 35% holding for us. So about the 600 or something, it's going to be 35% holding for us and 65% for him. So that's how the new company will be structured. So he says, so he needs further 520. Yeah, so he has money to put up the buildings and the farm setup and needs further 520. So for 500 out of 1.459, 520 is how much? 520 divided by 1459 is about 35%, and he is offering, you invest 520,000, I have balance money, 35% I will give you share. Right? His project will be more organic, and our interest in this project will mitigate criticisms that the media says about intensive farming. So this is what your big boss is telling. He says, if we go and invest in this company at 35%, surely with the 35%, we will not have the controlling interest, but we will have something what we call significant influence. We will have significant influence because we can participate in the decision making. The controller will be Kevin and that part. 35% will be our investment, ADF's investment. So from ADF's point of view, this will be an associate company. Right? So what he says is, if we go and join this company, it will be somewhat, the people, the media is very critical about these farms working on this keeping cows in-house, all that. This will mitigate those criticisms against us. That is what he says. We are attracted to Kevin because we are from the same family, and he also knows that we have access to supermarkets to sell products. Now, Kevin is thinking we have a good marketing structure and we can sell our products, and therefore he thinks by merging with us, by joining with us, that he also can sell his product to the supermarket. But we have to be very mindful, supermarkets are buying at very cheap rate. Yeah, very cheap rate. So Kevin also will fall into the same trap if we are what we are doing if we try to sell to the supermarket sector. From our point of view, we have not done any expansion for past 15 years, and we are working almost at full capacity with 1600 cows, and with decline in prices, we need to expand. So, yes, it's a good time for them to think of expansion. They should have thought it long time back, but I suppose they have not thought enough, and now it's a time for them to expand it, and what Kevin, our Joelin is thinking. Kevin is having few cash flow problems, and he is not in a position to raise 520,000 at this moment. So Kevin is coming not because he loves us. Kevin is coming because he cannot launch this project because he's short of 520,000. Yeah. Kevin wants us to join with 35% equity and will offer 2 board seats to us, whereas he will himself have his wife and 2 children in the board of this new venture. So that is also going to be a family concern. Right? Husband and wife and the 2 children, 4, and from here you can nominate 2 people. Kevin and I will be joint CEOs of the project, and I can nominate anyone from our board to his board as our additional member. So Joelin can decide whether to nominate his wife or one of the children as the additional member of the board. 2 members from this family, 4 members from other family will be the board. Our family is so closely connected, and I will have an issue in deciding who my nominee should be in this new setup, as I do not want to create any family friction. So these are the problems in the family businesses. If we nominate the daughter, the son will get angry. If the son is nominated, the mother will get angry. So he is having a dilemma deciding who should be the person to be nominated. Do you think that this sounds to be a good project, and could we achieve synergies between us and KDF? So this is your first task. Would you regard it as boss ethical bait to keep this conversation between the 2 of us for the time being without discussing with my family at the family meeting held yesterday until I negotiate further with Kevin? So he is keeping it very confidential. yes, had a family meeting yesterday, but he had not told anything about the Kevin's approach or Kevin what he had decided or what they had spoken, but he's coming and telling you all the things about what he spoke. So he's asking, is it unethical to keep up the things away from the board meeting or the board of directors pending further discussions with Kevin? In other words, he's having a secret negotiation with Kevin without informing the board. So this is your task. There are two tasks. So it's a 60-minute question. There are two tasks. So as we say always, the best thing is to take the first 10 to 15 minutes to read the question very well, understand what are the things in the paper, in the question, and what should be your planning for the answer. Keep 5 minutes always, the last 5 minutes to just to wrap up the thing. So 15 plus 520 is gone. You have another 40 minutes left over. During that 40 minutes, you should be trying to address the two issues. In this case, the first issue is whether we can achieve synergies. Second issue is whether it is unethical. So maybe 20 minutes you will allocate it. I have found always it's good for us to first finish up answering the first part of the task and then again read the question and go and answer the second part of the task. Because sometimes when we read it at the beginning, everything, we might forget it. So it's good to have another 5 minutes left over before we think of writing the second task. In this case, the first one is about whether there are synergies to achieve, and the second one is about the ethical conduct. So first we will write about the synergy part. We will read it once, the question. First time we will read the full question and look at the full task. Second time we will read the full question with only looking at the first task. Right? And then we will write. We will write for about 15 to 18 minutes we will write. Then again we will go and read the question again to answer the second task. And then we will write. So I have found that to be a more time-saving way rather than trying to read the whole question all the time and to answer. Anyway, now, first of all, we have to plan the answer. So, basically the idea is to merge these two companies, and whether you remember what is synergy? Synergy is something that is 1 plus 1 is not 2 more than 2. Yeah. Something that you can achieve which you cannot achieve individually, which you can achieve by joining together. So we have to put it in a bullet form, all the synergies what we can think of. And then think whether we can get those synergies realistically realized. So the first one what is talking about is the expansion, right, which we have not done for many years. He's thinking about expansion into a kind of an area which we are not really familiar, because our way of farming was more intensive one. We want to move into a less intensive. So again, there's a question mark whether we will get any benefit out of this. We are only having 35%, so we will be somewhat restricted to the dividend whatever we get, nothing more than that, because we can't decide on the dividend. The dividend will be decided by the Kevin's family. So if they declare a dividend, it's all right. If they don't declare, we can't do anything about it. Okay? Then the other thing what our Joelin says is about this publicity, adverse publicity, we can mitigate it by joining with this company. Yes and a no answer. Because we are not the owners of this company, we are just having a 35% interest in this company. And just because we have a 35% interest in that company, it is not going to mitigate the way we are farming, because we are still farming in the way keeping cows inside.
Yes.
Unless we convert our farm into a scenario, this is not going to, I don't think it is going to mitigate the criticisms at all. Then the next thing, we are not done a kind of we do not know what the dividend policy of Kevin is going to be. So because we have to rely on a dividend, because these shares are not marketable, both are family companies. So we have a problem, we can't sell these shares. So it all depends on the dividend. So the Kevin is not speaking about the dividend. So whether we can achieve anything in return is another problem. Also, we don't have money. We have to raise this 520,000. Already we are in debt. Already we are in debt. Already we are in a bit of a financial unstable period. So raising another 500,000 additional investment seems to be somewhat far remote for us. Because we are family members will not have money. We are getting only a 250,000 annual salary. So we don't have too much of money with us. And raising 520,000 is going to be a problem. Yeah. So to achieve whatever, we have to raise 520,000. That is why Kevin is coming. Kevin can't raise it. So that is why he is coming to us. So I don't think we also will be in a position to raise 520,000 at this stage. So also about the market, Kevin is relying on our market, which is already creating problems for us, because the market is not really fetching good prices for us. The prices are declining. The supermarket is our main market and it's coming down. So I don't think we can get any more synergy by selling the same product to our supermarket. So selling this Kevin's milk also to our supermarket structure, I don't think we can get any synergy out of that one. There is no economies of scale arising, because economies of scale, if at all, will be for Kevin. It's not for us, because we will not have anything purchasing for them, and it's 80 kilometers away, that company, that farm. So we can't supply anything to them. So there is no economies of scale coming up. And from that angle also, it is not a kind of a synergy situation. So basically, the idea of Kevin seems to be to raise money and to do a different kind of a farming. Only synergy what I can see is we can learn from them about these less intensive farming methods, and maybe if we are going to do that one in our company, we may be able to do it. But the price what we have to pay is a very, very huge price. 520,000. We have only 60,000 in the bank account, and that was also at 31st December 2015. Maybe today we are struggling, and in that kind of a situation, getting to pay 520,000 looks a bit of a unrealistic thing, and therefore, honestly, I think at a strategic level, we will have to say we don't say too much of synergy being achieved, and it doesn't seem to be such a sound investment. Having said that one, you will be very smart to tell, look here, looking at Kevin's proposal, I have studied Kevin's proposals. Kevin's investment cost is very low. per cow. Our problem is our investment costs are very high, and if we can, over a period of time, if we can convert our model to Kevin's model, that may be a better option, because we can sell some of our excess assets and make our company more liquid. That may be a better option, because always in the strategic case study we must come out with a recommendation. Always we must come out with a recommendation. So probably that may be a better kind of action rather than trying to join with Kevin. Also, another one, Kevin's and our company both are family concerns. No internal, no external people inside both the boards. So we don't have any advantage coming through by joining with Kevin, even to our farms, because there is nothing for them to give it to us or for us to give it to them. At least if they had a non-executive director or some person, at least we will have the benefit of using his knowledge for our farm also. Being a 35% control company, we could have done something with that way. But not here, because it's totally another two family concerns. And being two family concerns so closely connected, it might create more issues later on.
Yes.
And also, you are advising your CEO. Also, you will have to say you will have a problem inside the family trying to decide who should be the second nominee. So that one, if at all, if the merge is going through, if the proposal is going through, we have to see the strengths and weaknesses of the board of Kevin's and decide wherever they are weak. If we have a strong link, that may be our nominee. For example, if Kevin's company doesn't have a good finance background, we can put our Susan as our nominee. But if Kevin's company does not have any too much of a knowledge about the marketing, we can put one of our marketing person as the nominee. So that may be the way to decide, but it has to be decided at our board level with full consensus, full agreement. Even though the nominee will be decided by Joelin, he cannot decide it unilaterally. He must discuss with the other people also. So, finally, in my view, I don't think it is a good scenario, and also 80 kilometers away, control is not easy from our point of view, because we will be more focused, because we don't have managerial level staff, all that. We will be more focused on our company, and therefore then go and even to visit them, it's 80 kilometers, little bit far away to visit and to do it, and probably our time will be wasted on a 35% stake, and that is not going to make any changes to our company. And also, additional finance cost will be another additional burden, because if Kevin decides not to declare any dividends, we will have an outflow of money for capital loan repayment and interest without any inflow. Because Kevin may decide not to pay any dividends at all. So we can't influence him, because we can't control him. We don't have power, because we are only a 35% company according to the proposal. Later on, we might think of doing some certain differences, but for the moment, this is what you can be thinking. Any other things that you can think, that you can add up to this proposal? Forget about the second part. We are looking at the first part. I mean, we are thinking that it's a good sound proposal to go ahead, whether there is any synergy we can achieve. For me, it's not so sound because it's the same market we are trying to sell. Already the market is dropping the prices, so it's not going to be so sound in that way. It is the technique is different, but 65% is being controlled by that family. So we will not have too much of things to talk about their strategy or whatever. Also, we are in cash crisis at the moment. To find 620,000 is a huge thing. And also, we have to pay further additional finance charges, which can create a lot of problems because last year we have survived by selling some of the assets only. We have been able to pay the loan installment. Because we had only 60,000, we made a profit of 120,000, but we paid a 1 million loan. To pay that 1 million, we have sold some 700,000 worth of assets. And we have paid a small dividend of 60,000 or something. When you do the retained earnings opening, add in the profit after tax, retained earnings closing, you will find that we have paid a small dividend. And I'm sure why we pay a small dividend, because there are 10% shareholders outside the family, outside the directors. There are 10% outsiders inside the family members, but they are not directors, so you have to pay a dividend. That's the only way you can keep them happy. Right. So, from all the angles, we can see it's not going to, and if you think that it is going to mitigate the criticisms, I don't think, because, you are a very, being a SIMA qualified person, you are very objective. You are not going to carried away by various fairy tales and that kind of a thing. Just to think, because we have invested 35% in an organic company, for the people to think that we are good people, I don't think it is going to happen. Because we are still keeping our 1,600 cows inside the jail. We are gone and invested in another company, 35%. That is not going to make our cows any better. If at all, what we can do is we can look at that proposal and maybe with some external consultant, whether we can convert, because there is so much of synergy to be achieved, so much of things to be achieved by converting our style of management to, or our style of farming technique to Kevin's style. And of course, we have to be mindful. It can be somewhat called unethical because we have followed Kevin's model. But again, it's not so. It is accepted situation. There are only two farming techniques. One is less intensive. One is the more intensive one. So there's nothing wrong in looking at Kevin's thing and deciding that we are going to do the same way. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's my first part answer. Let's look at the second part. Would you regard it as gross ethical breach to keep this conversation between two of us for the time being without discussing with my family? At the family meeting held yesterday until I negotiate further. Right? So any merger is a very strategic decision, and it must be viewed with lot of commercial sensitiveness. So we can discuss it, but without keeping our board members informed. It may not be proper and ethical, because Kevin might leak out this information, or Kevin's board might leak out information saying that there had been a secret discussion between Kevin and the father, and that may get offend the family members at the moment. And also by share, because you can see already Susan has seen the papers, because Susan has said that 1.5 million figure is correct, but Susan may not be knowing the Kevin's discussion with Joelyn about asking them us to join in a merger, and to negotiate secretly without informing your board. It shows that you don't trust your board. you don't trust your board. So in a board, we must be collective members. We must have a very good understanding between each other, especially being in a family situation. So should not hide anything from the board, and to that extent, it could be considered somewhat unethical thing. As far as you are concerned, you have no very specific duty to inform your immediate boss, Susan, about this, because you are working for the entire company. You are the person in charge of special projects, so you have no specific duty to inform Susan about this information or every piece of information, right? So from your point of view, I don't think you have sort of reached the confidentiality or something with our Susan. So we can see Kevin is Kevin is the person who made the proposal, and Kevin only has discussed the whole thing with our Joelyn, and seems to be interested in joining our company, mainly to raise funds for his project and also to have access to our market to sell his product. That is what Kevin's thinking on the whole thing. To raise money, he has gone to some other company. He has failed in that. Apparently, the negotiations did not work very well. And also, he is trying to access our market through this venture. That is what he is trying to do.
Yes.
Being a family company, yeah?
Can we say it's a bit, it can be viewed positively by ADF family, because Kevin is approaching his sister behind everybody else's back.
Yeah.
To do the negotiation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because they are family.
They are family, yes.
Yeah, and therefore,
yeah,
he's trying to keep it from the other part of the family, and that will not be viewed favorably by the rest of the others.
You mean to say approach in a family is unethical?
No, I'm not saying approaching a family is unethical, but the fact that he's trying to keep it away from the rest of the fact that he is trying to keep it away from the rest of the family.
Yeah, because you're right. Because being a whether it's family or whatever, we are a corporate body, and any decision that must be taken must be done with the entire board's knowledge and with the board's participation. If you try to negotiate things on a private basis, whether it is the family or outsiders, it can be construed later that you have done a deal with them. You have done a deal with them, that you got some unfair consideration or something like that. That may happen. So you must maintain what we call objectivity, transparency, whenever we are dealing in an organization. So no secret discussion. In other words, no secret discussion should happen. So to that extent, it is somewhat not ethical at all. And also, you would want to wonder why our Joelyn is trying to keep it away from the other members of the board.
Yeah.
Right? Because finally, your job may be at risk when they come to know that the CEO joins you and discuss with you and you knew about it, and that
Yes.
they were not aware but you knew about it. There may be some kind of a pressure coming on you. There can be some kind of an intimidation on you, and finally you may get into the bad.
Yes.
Because there can be a kind of a concern that the secret discussions between Kevin and Joelyn is some kind of some kind of an underhand transaction or something like an unscrupulous behavior.
Yes.
And if they come to know that you two have got involved in these discussions before they got involved in it, then you also may be accused for that kind of a scenario.
Yes.
But having said that one, just because you feel uncomfortable, it does not mean that you have to go and expose the whole thing. But you have to protect yourself for greater transparency. You don't need to go and tell all the other directors, but I think the right thing is for you to tell Joelyn, it is more appropriate to speak to your board, get their views across before you proceed with anything. That's as a professional, that is what you should be telling. True enough, it's a family business, but still for all, being a corporate body, you must be telling it's more appropriate because the board is collectively responsible for any actions, and therefore to discuss things secretly without the board getting active participation is not proper, not ethical, and therefore you will recommend for them to go ahead with the and discuss this at a special family meeting or a board meeting. Also, the fact that Milko has rejected the proposal, rejected. So it may be not in best interest of ours to pursue the merger without really knowing why they rejected. Because we must know why they rejected it. So, so we basically, it is proper and ethical for our board to be briefed about all these things. Tell that he has approached Milko and Milko has rejected it, and therefore, you should not get participative in any secret discussions. You must get participative with the full knowledge of the board. And also, whatever said and done, you're working under Susan. So when she comes to know that you have done some secret work without informing him, because there is a kind of a ethical duty on your part to keep your boss informed of whatever you are doing. So try to keep this kind of a very sensitive information of a big merger away from the finance director can be somewhat harmful to you. So finally, I think you will conclude saying, you will say that you are very happy that he has placed trust on you to discuss this matter even before discussing with the board, but the more appropriate thing will be to take it up at the board level, discuss with the board, and then take a consensus decision, and then you will support the project, whatever that you have to do. Because you have to be very careful as a professional when you work. Sometimes when you work on these kind of situations with particular persons, particular parties, without getting the involvement of many people, that can be caused as somewhat like something like not proper, and later on it may be considered you as a professional should not have done that kind of a thing. So this is my answer. I will conclude it saying I don't think this is a good proposal to merge with. We will get into more difficulties with trying to find out this 520 million money, and also the additional cash flow without guaranteed inflow coming up. We might get into more financial difficulties, and we don't see any proper advantage to any of the things what has been mentioned as something that is tangible for us to carry with. So that is basically what you are saying is your view. Later on they might decide to go ahead. It's a different story. It's all right. But you must always keep them informed of what you think in the present scenario. So that should be. So I think it's good for you to, I will send the recording. It's good for you to start writing and see whether you can get additional points, put up more points, see how you can, nicely wrap up this kind of a conversation. Yeah, when is your next free day? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
No, sorry, Tuesday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm all right. Thursday? Wednesday. Shall we make it Wednesday? Yeah, okay. Let's make it Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Okay, so I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll start writing on this one. I'll send you another mark and we will discuss the second section of this one when we meet on Wednesday. Okay, so I will meet you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Jolene is actually the lady.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm not very sure because the two, both the husband and wife is a combination.
Yeah, Jolene is a
lady name, no?
Yeah.
The husband's name then. What about it? ADF Julie and Archie. Joeline and Archie. So we do not know. Both looks like female names.
A man's name.
Archie is a male name. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So Joeline and Archie. Yeah. They own 22.5. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. I think Archie may be the male. Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Right. So I'll see you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.